Hi YouTube family, my name is Vicky and in today's video lab we will cover how to create S3 bucket and how to create the S3 bucket policy with the help of the CloudFormation template. If you are new to the CloudFormation, make sure you are going to watch the basic video on the CloudFormation so that you can understand the YAML language and you also understand how exactly the stack, resources, parameters, these things work. I will provide you the link in the description so you can go and watch those videos. Let's start with the demo for this video. Now here we are going to create two resources. Resource which I am going to create, that is the S3 bucket. So let me write it down. And the second thing which I am going to create, the S3 bucket policy. Let's do one thing. Let's go to the official documentation of the CloudFormation so that we can pick up the resource section from there. For that, what I need to do is AWS CloudFormation resources. Yes, here it is. Let me go to the resources and we need to search for the S3. Here we have all the services which are there in the AWS. In this video we are going to focus on the S3, but if you are looking for some other, it is going to work the same way. Let me search for the S3. Now here we have the Amazon S3. Let me click on that, and here we have the resource type. So out of these resource I need the bucket because I need to create the bucket. So let me write it down here, AWS S3 bucket, and the other one I need AWS S3 bucket policy. Let me open both the things in a new tab. Now here it is. If we need to create a S3 bucket, this is the type which we need to use, and if I am going to scroll down, we have the syntax in the JSON and the YAML. Now here we have the type and the properties, and if you need any information regarding any of the property, you can scroll down, so it will give or provide you with more information, like let's suppose bucket encryption, what exactly this thing is. It will provide you all those details. Let me scroll up a bit. Here we have the syntax. So let's focus on the syntax. So let me write down the syntax here. So the syntax is going to be, we are going to start with resources, then we will have the logical ID. Logical ID is nothing but a name, the name for your resource. And then we have the type, it should be okay, and the type value is this is the type, right? And then we have the properties. So here is the properties. Let me copy this thing. Okay, let me. Now the first one which I am going to do is I am going to create a S3 bucket. So we are going to use this syntax only. Let me write down, this is a syntax so you will not get confused. Syntax. Okay, now this is the syntax starting from the resource. Let me copy this thing, resource. Then we have the logical name. We need to give 2 spaces. If you are not sure why I am giving 2 spaces here, 4 spaces, for that what you need to do is you need to go and watch the YAML video which I have created. The link is there in the description. Go and watch that video so that you will get idea how YAML, how we can write the YAML language. From here we need to give the logical name. So the logical name is nothing but a name. Let me give S3 bucket, then this, give 2 spaces, and here we need to give the type. So let me copy the type one and let me provide that value here, and the type is what? This thing, AWS S3 bucket. Let me give a space. Whenever we are working with the YAML, we always need to give a space after the colon. If you are not going to give space after the colon, it is not going to work. It will throw an error message. So make sure you remember this thing. Then we have the properties. So let me copy the properties from here. And in the properties, what we need, we only need the bucket name. Okay, so where is the bucket name? Bucket name is the string. So here is the bucket name and the string. We need to know more about the bucket name. We have the definition here, a name for the bucket. Here we have the properties, and then we have the bucket name. So let me copy the bucket name from here, bucket name. And how we need to provide that value? Giving 2 spaces here. It is going to start from here, then column. Now here I need to provide the bucket name. Okay, now the bucket name is going to be unique. It should be, of 3 character. It is not going to include spaces. It is not going to include the uppercase. These all the bucket prerequisites. So you can go and read this documentation so that you will get idea, like if you are providing a bucket name, what all things you need to keep in your mind while choosing the bucket name. Now let me give the bucket name here. So the bucket name is bucket name from Cloudformation template CFT and 0901, something like that. I know it's a funny name, but that is how it works. I'm providing the bucket name here. Now let's suppose in your template you need to provide the bucket name while running the stack. So let me show it to you. Let me save this thing. In the description, let me write down in the quotation. So creating S3 bucket first. Okay, now let me save this thing, and then I need to go to my Cloudformation. I already logged into my AWS account, so Cloudformation, here is the one. Now here I need to create a stack. Let's wait for it to open. Now the first thing which we need to do is we need to create a stack. So we need to go to the stack and create stack. Now here we have couple of options like template is ready, use a simple template, or create template in design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use template is ready because we already have the template, and that template we can put inside the S3 bucket as well, but for this video I'm not going to do that. We have the template on our local machine, so I need to upload the template from my local machine. Choose a file. Now once I'm going to click on next, if we have any of the validation error here, it is going to give me that error message here. If let's suppose the format is not correct, or if I missed to, it is going to provide me with the error here. As of now there is no error, so it is not providing. Now here it is asking me to give the stack name, so let me give Coco as the stack name. That is a funny name, but that's okay. Here we can provide the tag if you need to provide. So this tag is for your S3 bucket. Let's suppose I need to provide the tag environment is equal to prod, and project is going to be cookie, and then security 1A, something like that. So that's okay. Here you can provide the permission. Now this permission belongs to the Cloudformation. Then we have the stack failure option, rollback options are there, and then we have the advanced option. In this video I'm not going to explain all those things. I'm going to create a separate video where I'm going to explain all of these things. Let me click on next, and here if you want you can go and check for the estimate cost as well, like whatever the resources you are going to create, how much cost you have to pay once the resources is created. So you can check it from here. Let me scroll down and let me create a stack. While creating a stack, here we have provided the bucket name, but this is something I can do it here as well. Like while creating my stack, I need to provide the bucket name. That is something I can do that, and how to do that I will show it to you in a while, but let's wait for it to create first. Let me refresh. Okay, we have some bucket name should not contain this. So here is the error message, bucket name should not contain this, and we have this. So we need to replace this thing. That's okay. Let me do one thing. Let me provide a parameter. Parameter in the sense I need to provide my bucket name at the time of creation of this stack. Okay, so how I can do that? For that we need to add one parameter section here. So let me add parameter. Then again we need to give 2 spaces. Here we have the logical name. The same thing. Earlier we have the resources, then we have the parameter, logical ID. So it is going to be bucket name. Okay, let me correct this format as well so that it will look nice. Bucket name. Okay, now here I am not going to provide any of the value. The next thing which I need to do is I need to give 2 space, and here we need to provide the type. and the type is going to be map, list, string. So it is going to be string. And then if I need to provide any of the description, something like that, I can provide it here. Description like provide the bucket name. Okay, this parameter I need to change with this parameter. Okay, now how to change this thing? For that, what I need to do is I need to use this symbol, then ref, and then we need to give this logical name. Whatever the logical name I'm going to select, I need to provide it here. Okay, let me save my template. Let me go back to my CloudFormation, and here we have the option to update the stack. I don't want to do that right now because there was an error. So let me go to the stack, create stack, template, next. See, invalid template property or properties parameters. So it is telling me there is some problem with my template. That's okay. Let's see what exactly the problem is. Parameter. Okay, I think I got the problem. It is not parameter, it is parameters. Okay, let me save my template and let me go back, choose file, you click next. See, this time no error message. So the problem was with parameters. It is not parameter, it is parameters. Okay, now here we need to provide the stack name. So let me provide Coco1, and see, here we have the parameter bucket name. Please provide the bucket name. Whatever the information I have provided here, it is simply reflecting here, right? So this is the parameter, and let me provide the bucket name here, bucket CloudFormation template new and 0901. Let me go next. Here we can provide the key, something like environment is equal to dev. Next, create stack. Now once I'm in the create stack option, see here we have the parameter. So the parameter we have provided this value. Okay, and in the resources it is going to create this resource. The next after some time we are going to create the bucket policy. So here we are going to see two type. This one is AWS S3 bucket. So what exactly this thing is? The type to create the bucket. Okay, event, it is telling me it is user initiated. Okay, and it is also telling me that my bucket creation is done. Let me refresh, create complete. Great. Now let me go to the parameter, copy the value from here. Let me go to my S3 buckets. Here we have the bucket, and if I go to the properties, we have the tag as well, environment this. Along with this we have the other tags as well. So this is something by default created. Whenever we are creating a resource with the help of the CloudFormation or with the help of the Terraform, don't worry about the Terraform here. If you have no knowledge, then it's okay, but I have also created the videos on the Terraform, so you can go and watch. The link is there in the description. So whenever you are creating your resources with the help of the launch template, with the help of the Terraform, with the help of the CloudFormation, you will get some default tags here, so that you can identify from where exactly this resource is created. You will get all those information. So these are the by default name, like the value is Coco1, logical ID is S3 bucket. Great. Let's go to the part 2 of the demo, and in part 2 we need to create the bucket policy. So how to create the bucket policy? For that we have the official documentation, and here it is, cloud stack. Let me open it one more time. So here we have the bucket policy, and in the bucket policy we have this thing. We have the type, that is the bucket policy, and bucket name and the policy document. And if I'm going to click on the policy document, here we have the policy document. Now I can copy this thing, or I already have this bucket policy with me, so let me paste it here. Now couple of changes I need to do in this. The first one is we have this S3 bucket, and in the S3 bucket, for the bucket name we are referring the parameter. From here the bucket name is coming, right? We also need to provide the bucket name in the policy. if I go here, let me go back. Here we need to provide the bucket. So how we are going to provide the bucket name here? For that we are going to use the reference bucket name. Now which one I need to provide? This parameter name or this name? So here we need to provide this name, resource logical ID here. So this is the bucket policy. Let me write it down, policy. Okay, now here we have this bucket refer s3 bucket. Now from where this is coming? This is coming from the resource section, not the parameter section. But in the resource, while creating the bucket, this one is coming from the parameter. Understand the logic here. First it is going to create the s3 bucket, then it is going to create the s3 bucket policy, right? So the bucket policy is bucket name is already created with the help of this resource. So what we need to do is, in the second resource, when we are creating the bucket policy, we need to refer this logical ID, not this logical ID which is there in the parameter. Okay, now here we have the policy document like ID, version, statement. So if you have already worked with the IAM policy, then you know all those things. If not, let me go to the IAM. Let me show it to you. Let me open any of the policies. So we have 19 policy here, and let me click on this. Let me open any of the policy. So if you see, we have the version, we have the statement, we have the effect, we have the action, and then we have the resource. So we have this thing in our policy. The same thing we are mentioning it here. ID, version, statement, SID. SID is nothing but a logical name for your policy, so that you can identify your policy, what exactly this policy is. If you want, you can remove this section as well. This is not mandatory, but action something mandatory. So here you can provide the action. The same way, if you go to your IAM, so here if you see EC2 describe, this is the action. The same action you are providing it here, but you are providing it for the S3. Effect, resource. Here we are using the ARN, and here in the ARN we are providing this S3 bucket, because here we need to provide the bucket name. Now the bucket name coming from this resource, so we have replaced this value with the bucket name, or you can manually enter this value as well, but it is good if you are going to use this reference in your code. Then you are creating a principal. There you have the join and the sub as well. So in this video, don't get confused, because I'm going to create a video where I'm going to explain all those things. Just concentrate on the reference. Reference is something where we can pick up the value from the different parameter, output, or from the resource. Okay, and here I have mentioned my account ID. Now from where I got this value? If I go to my account, here we have the account ID. So let me save this thing, and let me go to my Cloudformation. Now here I'm in my Cloudformation. Let me click here, and let me go to the parameter. Let me copy the bucket name, and let's update this thing. Update this stack. We have to replace the current template, and I have the current template here. Upload. Again, if we have any error or something in the document, next we have the bucket name here. Next, if we need to add more tag, we can do that. Next. Now here just look at the changes. Change set preview. So here it is going to tell you what exactly it is going to change. As of now, we know that we have added the bucket policy, so it is going to tell me logical ID is bucket policy. It is going to add. If we need to see the resource type, this is the bucket policy. It is going to add. If it going to update something, or if it going to delete something, it is going to tell me here. Update stack. Let me go to the parameter. Let me copy this bucket value S3. Here we have. So let me paste it here. Let me refresh this thing. Let me go to the permission, and here we have the bucket policy. Great. So we have created the bucket policy along with bucket. Let me go here. Let me refresh resources tag info. Let me refresh. So we have the update complete. We can check the events if we need to. We can check the resources. So it has created two resources here. One is the bucket policy and the other one is the bucket. In the output we have not provided any of the parameters, so this is blank and parameter. So this is the parameter value here. This is how you can create the S3 bucket along with the bucket policy with the help of the CloudFormation template. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, do subscribe my channel. Thank you.